Well, welcome everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Richard McIntyre and it's really lovely to be back with you after a very busy and full week, and I've got lots to chat about. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and push the little bell so you know next time when I'm broadcasting. And I'm going to play a tune this week for to keep coronavirus away, or COVID away. And this week I'm going to play a tribute to one of our greatest singers and wartime morale boosting singers at that, Dame Vera Lynn, who has passed away at the age of 103. And there's been loads of tributes to Dame Vera, but I want to pay my own tribute to her by playing some of her music, as you'd expect. And so I'm going to kick off without further ado and talk about Vera. And so this, I found the second album. I played some tunes a little while ago to celebrate our VE Day celebrations, and I played from this album where she's singing with what she calls the boys, singing with the armed forces. So it's great numbers on here. So but I found the second album that I've got in my collection. This one is called Vera Lynn Hits from the Blitz, would you believe? Came out in 1962 on HMV, and it's a very nice copy. Found this in a charity shop so some time ago, and a really nice album. So much so that somebody had actually written on the inner sleeve what the record was about. So I'm going to play that this afternoon. And the tunes I'm going to play you from then are going to be sort of melodies really that she's doing on the first track, and that's side one. This is the Army, Mr. Jones. I left my heart at the stage door canteen. It's a lovely day tomorrow, which was and Vera often said that her tunes instilled sort of hope for the next day. So for example, you know, We'll Meet Again was all about we will meet again, and lots of other tunes were in the same vein as that. And strangely enough, I found amongst inside this record cover a paper cutting of when she was 100, which is in 2017, and obviously I'd kept that. And there we go, there we are, 16th of March 2017. There was a Telegraph tribute to Dame Vera, and that's a lovely photograph of her. I'll put some photographs of Dame Vera as I'm talking about her. There's the most amazing obituary in the Telegraph yesterday, and there's a wonderful photograph of her there, which is a really nice tribute to her. That and some other pictures I found. I found that I've actually got 4 CDs, would you believe? Vera Lynn, The Ultimate Collection. This one came out in 1998. Vera Lynn, We'll Meet Again. This one came out in, 2013. There we go. And Vera Lynn Remembers, the songs that won the war. This is obviously a double album because it was part 2. This came out in 1994. And then the We'll Meet Again, the very best of Vera Lynn. This is an amazing photograph of her there, and that's in 1999. So there we go. So anyone who says I don't like Vera Lynn obviously doesn't know me very well. I can't say I play her tunes all that much. I think I've mentioned before that I really quite enjoy playing Anne Shelton's music, because they were both very similar in terms of they were around at the same time, but very different singing styles. And of course Anne Shelton was a dance band leader as well, and had a more contralto voice, where Dame Vera had a slightly soprano type voice, I think they would be described as, in terms of, but obviously not quite as high as that. But a beautiful lady. I met her once opening Bradmere House when I was working for the Royal British Legion Industries at Aylesford, and we had a nice chat for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then she very kindly signed the programme there, and I'll put a picture of that on there. So that's my memory of Dame Vera, one of our national treasures that we've lost. And but the memory of Dame Vera will always go on, and she'll always be enshrined as part of that period in our lives. And of course Her Majesty the Queen has mentioned her as part of the coronavirus update that she gave in terms of morale for the country. So there we go, that's just bits about there. Back to business side of things before I move on, and that's yesterday's paper. Today's paper is talking about yesterday. We don't have a government update from the ministers or the scientists, though I have to say the scientists don't seem to be very present on the current podiums out there now, which means I think the government are slightly waving off the process for the programme updating the public. But as of yesterday, there are 42,461 deaths. That's up by 173 people have passed away due to coronavirus. What I've been asking for also is the fact that what is the long-term effects? For those people in recovery, we don't know that. We don't know that data, because the long-term effects are quite far-reaching in terms of conditions like kidney failure, heart failure, diabetes, it turns out now, and others. So the comorbidities, as they're called, are there, and we don't know what the long-term legacy is going to be on providing support for those people within the health service. So on my list of things today, yes, let's just move across. So here, right, nearly forgot. I'm doing some work on getting the house decorated in the lounge and dining room area, and so clearing out is quite interesting. Not so much clearing out, but I found this book that I was given by my grandmother, and how things developed, information. This one is Wireless by Frederick Roberts, an amazing book, and obviously at a very young age I was quite interested in radios and wireless, and this is dated the 12th of January 1973, and it's from my grandmother, who wrote to me and sent me this book, because I was, at the time, I was schooling in West Germany, as it was called then, Germany, and so I was a youngster there, and so I just wanted to find a passage that she's written here. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I think this bit at the bottom here. I understand from Mummy that you're now swatting up for your exams in February. Really get down to it, and don't let anyone, underlined, put you off. It's very important that you pass with good marks to enable you to have a good reference to help you get an apprenticeship towards the end of the year. I just thought that rather summed it up, really, that my grandmother was very much old school, and she was very keen that I should get the very best out of life, and I think probably I'd taken a leaf out of her book. But this particular book, so I pay tribute to her, really. She's been passed away many years now, and but I was really grateful for some of her values. Actually, they were very old school values, and she and her sister, my aunt, who I lived with, we had a great time together. But this book also had lots of history in it. Marconi with his very first radio transmitter there, and I used to actually enjoy reading this book and swatting up about how radios worked, and there were some very simple diagraphic bits in here about how radio valves work, and I used to really enjoy looking at this and working out. In fact, when I was at home in Germany, in the cellar, I had a workshop there where I used to do lots of experiments, and I had a lot of old radio sets, mainly Grundigs, because my father used to bring them home for me when I think people gave them to him. So a lot of the sets didn't survive. I took them apart and then couldn't get back together, but that was part of learning, wasn't it? But there were some wonderful things about how filaments work, how triode valves work, and diode valves work as well. In fact, I actually made using a 25 watt light bulb, I actually made a diode receiver, and it actually worked. I had it working, and I had a massive, great long aerial from my bedroom out to the end of the garden in this really big house that we had then, and listening on my headphones with to the local station, which would be I think it was ZDF, I think it was there, one of the German classical stations that was playing at the time. But great time ahead. So I mentioned Vera Lynn, and also I'm going to have some other bit work done in the house as well, which I'll come to in a second. I've sent off for this amazing brochure. This is, as you know, I've got a very nice Abarth 595 Turismo, Gran Turismo, and one thing I noticed, I hadn't got the brochure that goes with the car, so I found it on eBay, and this arrived the other day. This is an amazing history. I didn't realise that was going to be inside, but also about Carlo Abarth, who started the Abarth company back in 1949, and the very nice pictures here about and also the history of the company. So I'll post a picture of that on there. But of course, the current cars started out back in 2007, and mine's a 2016 plate, which I've thoroughly enjoyed driving, and I've been updating and playing with recently. So yeah, lots of really good stuff in here, lots of really nice plates, pictures in here. I think the one that's let me just find, here we are, there's the Gran Turismo. This is the two-tone one. Mine's a single tone in grey, as you know, and there all the very bits and the leather seats and the rest of it. Funny enough, the colour chart in here doesn't have my colour. Mine's called Grigio Grey, that's why I've called it Grigio, but it doesn't actually have the actual colour, the colour blocks. Let me just find it. Yes, they call it Campovario Grey, I'm sure I pronounced that right, or Truffalo Grey, which is that one, or the other one is, where are we? Is another grey here? Yeah, Circuit Grey, which I thought was in red. Circuit Grey is that. So perhaps they don't all conform to the same colours, or they've just changed the colour names. You know, I suppose the nearest one would be the Campovario Grey or Circuit. Well, somebody once said it was Circuit Grey, but anyway, it's certainly on the logbook what it is. It's called Grey, and Turismo and Grigio Grey is what it's called on the some of the other bits inside the car. The numbers all tally for the touch-up paint. But I just thought I'd mention that, so that's a really nice piece of provenance that will go with the car, and that will obviously, I'll have a look at that again. Thoroughly enjoyed reading that, and because I've got one for the Spider, I've got one for the Mondeo, so that will go in the provenance file with all the other items I have there. That's good news. So yes, I'm going to have some decorating done. Let me just got a runny nose. And Mark Goulding, who's the decorator who did the outside, if you remember, the outside of the house, is coming to do the lounge and dining room from the 6th of July. So I'm having a couple of weeks holiday, which will be really good. And then I've ordered a new carpet as well, which will fit with the hall one, and that's a type of I suppose what colour, beige colour carpet. The one that's currently down has been there about 30 years, would you believe, and so I've decided to have a bit of an upgrade. Interestingly enough, Carpetright is open for business. Let me just have a cup of tea. Cheers everyone. And so I popped down there the other day and made a decision and paid up. When I got home, I checked the receipt I had from them to find that they'd underestimated the actual size of the room by quite a bit. They, instead of making it 0.30 inches, they made it 0.13, which would make it a very short room indeed. So I went back and they've changed it all. There was a 50% discount on the carpet and an underlay, so I came out feeling quite pleased with myself. Of course, when you added the extra feet and inches in, it actually, you know, slightly doubled it a little bit, or not doubled it, but increased it, which was more around the budget that I'd set. So, but anyway, we got there in the end, and it will look very nice. In the process at the moment, I'm moving everything, so this office you can't see, but this office is full of records and CDs and DVDs and gramophone records, and also some of the stereo that normally sits downstairs. So it's yeah, it looks slightly more packed in here than normally would. But anyway, there we go. So what I wanted to do also was talk to you about the video of the week. We don't have, and that is Simon Spears, who's one of my watches, and I really enjoy watching Simon's videos and working in his workshop. He works on a whole range of equipment, either testing equipment or radios, and he's done some really good videos, or sometimes he even works on his motorcycles. And Simon also comments on my videos as well. So Simon, thank you so much for your support, and it's really nice to see your video uploads as well. And so I'm going to post a picture of Simon's channel, and also I'll put a link there for you so you can follow him, and you know, if you're interested in any of that type of thing like you do for me. So I think that's all today. Let me just make sure. Yes, there was one thing I was going to mention, going back to the bath, is that I'm going to fit a new fog light to the rear part of the vehicle, because there's a grille, and it's a surface mount one. There's a grille. I can just find, if you just bear with me, I'll see if I can find a picture of the rear of the car. I'll put a picture. Oh, here we are. So I'll put a picture anyway in a minute from one of the pictures about the car. There's a little grille there which doesn't really do anything. It looks very nice, but I've managed to find an LED surface mounted fog lamp, and I'm going to, in the process of just extending the cable ties, tails, so that can be wired in. I did take the car up to my local garage at Croucher's in Maidstone, and they've upgraded the fog light already fitted in within the bumper, and also the reversing lamp. Remember, that was quite a difficult thing to get the lights back in again with the fitting, because you need to put the car on the ramp, and they've done that for me. And they didn't charge either, which I thought was really good of them. I took it quite early, before the shop had almost opened, but there was cars already waiting around, and they did that without any questions. So they get a big thumbs up from me for customer services, and I'll be taking Brochure back there for his MOT. He's probably an MOT or pre-MOT, one of the two, as I've ensured that Litscombe's Fiat in Maidstone know that there's a change of ownership from Sonia to me, which they had duly done, and so on that note. But anyway, hope you're all keeping well. Don't forget to comment. I look forward to your comments, and I'll see you again on the Saturday the 27th of June. Gosh, we're nearly into July, when I've got in between, I've got a very busy week coming up, and working with some local providers, and it's really good fun, as well as the day job, as it were. So until then, take care, all the best, see you soon, bye for now. A tribute to the Dame Vera Lynn, who died aged 103, a medley from the 1962 album Hits of the Blitz, with Vera Lynn, Tony Osborne and his orchestra. This is the selection of This Is the Army, Mr. Jones, I Left My Heart at the Stage Door Canteen, It's a Lovely Day Tomorrow. Enjoy.
Mr. Jones, no private rooms on telephone. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the army, Mr. Green. We like the barracks nice and clean. You had a housemaid to clean your floor, but she won't help you out anymore. Do what the buglers command. They're in the army and not in a band. This is the army, Mr. Brown. You and your baby went to town. She had you worried, but this is war, and she won't worry you anymore. I left my heart at the stage door canteen. I left it there with a girl named Eileen. I kept her serving sat there dunking donuts till she caught on. I must go back to the army routine, and every doughboy knows what that will mean. A soldier boy without a heart has 2 strikes on him from the start, and my heart's at the stage door canteen. It's a lovely day. Tomorrow is a lovely day. Come and feast your tear-dimmed eyes on tomorrow's clear blue skies. If today